Thanks. Now, okay, Steve. So, what do you think this phenomenon it is? Like, it seems like we've got a bit of science going on here, but what do you take from this information?
That is the big question because we're talking about. You have the youngsters, the poltergeist activity, and that they outgrow it. The ghosts go away when they hit a certain age? Is it gone?
Well, the most common thing is like in teenage girls, especially when they're going through the changes that they go through, they can cause things to happen around them, things to explode, lights to go on and off.
Boys.
It's common, boys.
Boys.
Boys often explode. It depends what the girls are doing at the time, I suppose.
See what you did there.
But yes, and they often grow out of it. So you would think then that that's nothing to do with dead people. It's actually some sort of energy that's radiating from the person. I mean, what would you think about that?
Well, yeah, that's
You'd think that was a possibility?
That's what it looks like to me, yeah.
And what about other ghosts? What about what about Simon seeing his mum when he was a little boy?
Are you interacting with it as is it a conscious being, or are you seeing a shadow of somebody? Are you seeing their file, their life file opened up in front of you? What is it you think you're patching into?
To me, what I think it is, I think that it's an energy, some sort of energy, because I can go into a house and, even not even going into a house, I can draw what the house looks like inside before even going into the house a lot of the times. And then also saying that when I've gone into not just homes, whatever the location is, and you walk in there and straight away I can, if there is something there, for me it's like I can tell straight away if it's a male, female, young, middle or old, and I go, so there's this resident of energy that's there that I'm picking up on, and then I'll walk through and try and follow. I suppose it's like smoke in a house. So you go, hang on, I can smell smoke. Something's burning, and you follow it through to try and find where it is. So to me, that's what it's like to me.
Do ghosts smell?
No. Well, I've never had any smell side of things.
Well, sometimes you have. I remember you've said somebody smells like they're wearing lavender and stuff. I remember one of the houses you said you could smell lavender. It was like a perfume that was. There was
one place, and one of the places that we did do was a house that had the people kept smelling that there was a fire, like a smoke. And when we went into this one room, it ended up being this rug. And the rug had been in a fire in the house. House had been knocked down, and there was a spirit associated with that rug. And every time it was in the room, it was in young children's room, they would freak out and think that the house is on fire and all these other things. It was just really full on. As soon as they got rid of that, everything went calm down. They heard people walking up and down at night. But as soon as that went, it all vanished.
Whatever it was kind of like it was trapped in the rug.
I've had things like bathtubs. This person, they said, come over here, I want you to have a look at this house, this is happening, we're hearing voices, we're hearing footsteps, I'm freaking out and everything like that. And you go there and you go there to try and calm them down first and say, look, we'll have a look and make them feel comfortable that we're having a look to see if we can find something. It's like a dad walking in and the child saying, there's a boogeyman in the cupboard, and you go in, oh look, there's no one in the cupboard.
And it was Bruce Willis. But no, yeah. So what's your, like, if I was a young kid experience this, there's a boogeyman in the cupboard, what would you do? Like, what's the best thing that you can do as a kid to try and help yourself in this situation?
When we've come across a lot of children that have talked about it and everything, we'll go, like, I'll go in and have a look and see if I can feel anything or pick up on anything. And then I've asked them before to come with me that they're not going to get attacked or hurt. And we've never had any child get attacked or anyone get attacked or anything.
Okay, yeah.
And just go in and say, we say to the parents, go and put a recorder in there, video it. Go in there and see if you can get that same thing happening again. And when I talk to the kids or adults or other people that are in relationship to this, I say to them, what we want you to do is try not to be scared, try and talk to them. Say, is there someone there? You can come in, I'm friendly, come in. And you'll get them say, we've recorded, we've never got anything again. we've asked questions and left the recorder there and wrote down a bunch of questions. So it always seems to go away.
Often ghosts, I mean, there's 3 different types of ghosts. You've got residual ghosts, which are based on stone tape theory, which are energies that are left in the fabric of material. So it could be left in a building, or it could be just in the air, where there's been something highly emotional. And it's often like on anniversaries and things where it's repeated. They're non-interactive, so it's just like a replay, a video replay.
And this is what a lot of people do, and psychics do, when they say pick up an object. And then
Psychometry.
they can
Oh, that's psychometry,
yeah.
yes.
So that's kind of what the residual energies.
The energies that's there, and then you have active ghosts, which are ones that are intelligent and can interact. So that's when you're doing séance and you want to say, "Is there anybody there?" And you get a grandmother coming through or whatever, and they're actually answering questions. So Simon can sometimes do that, where we're interacting, or we can use equipment to interact and record EVPs. And then there's the third type, which is the poltergeist, which is the most interesting one, but the least common, and that's the noisy ghost. That's where you get the raps, you get things moving, but you don't usually see any entity, so you wouldn't see anything, and it wouldn't necessarily interact. It might knock or whatever, but you wouldn't usually hear voices or anything. But they're the most exciting because they seem to have the highest levels of energy and the highest amount of EVPs. We get EVPs, but the highest levels of EMF that you get around it. So we have those 3 different types of ghosts. And so you don't know what it is that we're going into. Sometimes you might have replays. Commonly, if it's with children, these are the active ghosts, where they're interacting. They're like a play friend. And
so they're kind of like a carer, or like that just wants to have fun with them because they may be lonely. Like
like an imaginary friend. I mean, yeah. I actually took Steve along to a case about a month or 2 ago, wasn't it, where there was a woman who was she was on her own a lot. She had children, and one of her son who was only 2 or 3, he had this Playmate who he called Dobby, wasn't it, Dobby?
That's right, Dobby.
And he was really scared of it. It would interact with him, but he was scared, and of course the mother was really scared.
It's got chills
so
again. Thanks,
we
Gemma.
we went to see because she was on her own a lot. Her husband was working away, and so we went along to see what the cause might be. And you were very sceptical that anything was there, so I wanted to take him along and see what it.
Oh, so what did you get this from this experience, Steve?
Well, the best thing was the psychology to try to wean the kid back out of it. First thing they discovered was the kid was laying next to the Wi-Fi. Again, there's your electronics.
He's just the Wi-Fi transmitter.
She'd actually put it in the room. So the first thing I did, so again as a scientist, I did a little quick interview and then walk straight in. There's Wi-Fi. The transmitter right next. It was right next to the kid's bed, and most of nearly all the interactions that she said was at night in bed. So straight away, that was one of the
seeing up there at the
causes.
ceiling. So the best thing I took away from it was the psychology involved. It was interesting because she identified what she felt was the problem, but was also telling the mother, okay, now he's been conditioned night after night to think he's seeing what he saw in the first place up there. Now you have to uncondition him. We'll have to.
I find this really interesting because we've got this Wi-Fi and these devices, but we're kind of looking at it as if they're like the cause of people doing hallucinations, or could they be possibly some sort of device that helps a spirit interact because of the environment?
That's a good thing. It could be like a gateway. It's providing energy to give them, because often you need places with sources of energy, don't you, for them to enter.
Well, it is energy. Like Wi-Fi it's waves.
But is
All
it a
energy
certain
waves.
frequency?
Well, that's the question.
Is that what it is? It's like, for me, and I've spoken to Gemma about this before, is driving along, a main road where you've got intersections of lights, and I could shut my eyes and say, okay, the box, the grey box, it's going to be on this side, and as we come up with my eyes shut, it's on that left-hand side, and we go a bit further, okay, there's no one on the left-hand side, and all the way you could drive along and go, am I picking up on the frequency? that the lights do.
that they give out.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
a good
something
question.
that
Yeah.
you find is, I mean, I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic radiation as well. And so when we go into some of these haunted sites, you can feel it straight away, can't you? It might not necessarily be a ghost, but you can feel the energy, just like you can sense when there's an electrical storm coming or something.
Well, no, definitely. I think we're all attuned to like us. You can feel when there's rain coming or something like that. It's definitely something that's
Feel it in your bones.
prevalent in the human consciousness and psyche.